Hello, welcome along to episode 105 of Adventures in Pop. My name is Simon Jacobs, and you are extraordinarily welcome, particularly if you follow and subscribe and ring the bell and do all those things along here. Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit about being a musician. That's quite deep and profound, but it is deep and profound. And I'm going to share an old song that never made it from the quite frequent series called Old Songs That Never Made It. Let's start with being a musician, shall we? Because obviously this whole video cast is really aimed at people who are singer-songwriters, independent musicians trying to make their way in the crazy music industry with all its hurdles and difficulties put there to stop the vast majority of people getting anywhere. I was at a lecture this week. I know that sounds a little bit academic, but it was an unusual thing for me. I was being taken along to a lecture, and there was an artist talking about being an artist. She was very good. She was quite inspirational. And at one point, I think she was answering a question. She said very sternly, looking directly into the audience, she said, being an artist is not a career, she said. And I was sitting there thinking, well, let's just swap the word artist for songwriter or musician, independent musician. Is it, how do I feel about that? And it did get me thinking. And I think this has changed a little bit over the years, because when I first started doing this, I think I was quite nervous, a little hesitant at saying to people, when they say, oh, what do you do? I was probably more likely to say I'm a management consultant than I was to say I'm a musician. I'm an independent musician. I'm an independent singer-songwriter, actually. But I've got a little bit better at putting that first, and believing that that's what I am, because that is actually what I spend most of my time doing. So I think this brings me to the other part of it, which is I've talked to friends who do different creative things very seriously and for a living recently, and I think one of the things that connects all those people is you've got to work at it. You've got to put your hours in. You've got to put the hours in. It's got to be the thing you do for most of your working day, and then you can honestly say that's what you are, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's taking the pee for me to say I'm a singer-songwriter or I'm an independent musician. Doesn't mean I'm hugely successful. No. But it does mean that that's what I do, and that's what I spend most of my days obsessing about. So that seems reasonable to me. And in fact, one of the things that I always think is the difference between those who really take it seriously and those who don't is those who really take it seriously, particularly we're talking now about the world of songwriting. I think songwriters are always looking for the next song, and if they find something, because they know that a good song is precious, you don't expect one to come to you every day unless you're Ed Sheeran, then when something happens, when something comes, I think the people who are really serious about their craft catch it as quickly as possible, go and write it immediately, sing it waywardly onto their phones on the record setting, so as not to lose it, and it becomes not just for fun because you think, oh, that'd be fun. It becomes a necessity. You don't want to lose that song, and you've got to get it down as best you can right now. So I think those things do mark out the kind of vocational singer-songwriter who does this, not because it's a career, but because they have to. That does sound deep, doesn't it? But I think it's kind of true. Let's have a quick look at an old song that never made it from the series Old Songs That Never Made It. This one is about a good 4 years old. I'm going to check that. Yes, I think this was written in 2019. So it will be this summer. It will be 4 years old. It's called Friends Forever. And what I was trying to do in this song was to do a bit of kind of storytelling observation. So little details, but within a song that actually is quite, is quite broad, is quite macro. Friends forever, I'm basic. Although we're having this little crisis right now, we will be friends forever. And so it's a song that I remember really clearly. It wrote itself. Once I got started, I had this riff, and you'll hear the riff from the very first minute, the very first second. The riff kind of, took me through this song. And I just had to make sure I could get words down that kind of made sense and with the right rhythm and the right pattern in the right place. But it all kind of came very quickly. And I did really like the song. I think I do really like the song. It's a riff-driven song. I don't have very many of those. So why did I never release it, I think is the question. And I think the reason that it never got released, it was a bit too personal about it's a real story. It's a real true life story about a real friend. I didn't really want to embarrass them. And I'm not going to mention any more about that because I still don't want to embarrass them, but I'm not going to release it. I'm just going to very quickly and secretly just play it to you, and you're not going to tell anyone, so that's okay. Look, this is another thing. We've probably talked about this before, but I do, write songs about people I know because you write about what you know, don't you? So that's always going to happen. But at the same time, I don't want to cause, terrible embarrassment as if anybody was watching. So look, that's it. It's a song called Friends Forever. I just made a little nice lyrics video so you can follow the words. One thing that's interesting is the words are not quite as audible as they are these days because it was 4 years ago and I was still learning how to record singing. So, there's some slight production kind of issues that I don't have time to fix, but you'll get the picture, I'm sure. Other than that, once we get into April, which for me starts tomorrow, I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about how I get on with Spotify's discovery mode, because I've got a number of tracks. I think it's up to about 6 tracks now that are going to be picked up by Spotify's discovery mode as of tomorrow morning and whirled around its head for a month, and we'll see what happens. What we know for certain is I have to pay Spotify a third of the royalties, and we'll see if there's anything left at the end of that. Is it going to be worth my while? Does it make a difference at all? We will find out. In the meantime, here is Friends Forever. See ya.
Forever, dreaming dreams together, both moving down different tracks, knowing we got each other's backs. Things were very different then. The innocence and energy, hard for me